Hey, 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 this is Evolve Women's MMA, and I'm your host, Shelley Devine. So, what a weekend of fights at Invicta FC 31. Great. These ladies went in and they were crushing it. I mean, it was really a lot of really great fights. And I have a special co host today that's going to help me go over the fights. And then she also will be on Invicta FC 32 coming up in November, where she will be facing Felicia Spencer for the vacant featherweight title. So I like to welcome Pam Sorenson. Yay. Hi, Pam.
And smushed it.
So a truck ran over your last phone.
Yeah.
Wow. How did the phone go? Did you drop it or?
No, so I had left it on the top of my car because I had just gotten done running. So I left it on top of the car, forgot about it, drove off. It flew off the roof of my car right outside the gym. And then a delivery truck came by and ran it over.
Did you know, like, as soon as it went flying off your car, could you tell that it went flying off your car when you were driving?
No, I was looking for it that night, and I was like, oh, I must have left it at the gym. And then, like, I used, like, the Find My iPhone thing. And then luckily somebody at the other business saw me outside looking for my phone. And he's like, hey, did you lose a phone? He's like, I kind of ran it over. And,
oh, my word. Wow.
Yeah. It was like smashed.
Was it insured?
No, but I only had to pay for a new screen, even though I got a new phone. So.
Oh, well, that's good. I in a matter of, I think 3 months, I had insurance on my phone. One was stolen. So then I got another one through the insurance company. And then that one, I dropped it and I cracked it perfectly where I couldn't use it at all.
Yeah.
At all. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And then they were like, you are now uninsurable.
Oh no.
I was like, and I'm like, for how long? And they were like, for an entire year, but they did give me another phone.
Like a high-risk driver, only like a high-risk cell phone user.
Exactly. I had one for like the longest time, never, no problems, never had any problems. But the stolen one was when I was outdoors at boot camp, and I was like, about maybe about 50 yards away from the phone, and somebody must have went through my coat pocket because it was on the ground and went through like a whole line of probably my boot campers, their pockets, and just shook this one feels heavy, and took the keys. But what was really funny is my spidey senses were tingling, because I was like, maybe we should get back to the coats because I think somebody's looking through them. And I really didn't see anybody do it, but I just kind of had that feeling. And I had that feeling like, no, I can't take the keys because I'll never find the car.
Yeah.
And because the keys were in there too, to my car. And I'm like, and sure enough, I went back, checked my coat, and my phone was gone. I was like, are you kidding me? And I had the radar going, which was really kind of freaked me out a little bit. I was like, oh man, I was so accurate. Somebody did steal it, It was weird.
But yeah, it's kind of cool. But then you're like, damn it, somebody stole my.
Yeah, exactly. So you have some exciting news. I'm welcoming, Pam Sorenson, featherweight. She's going for the title at Invicta. Come in November, right? Was this like, wow, out of the blue? Were you shocked or what?
I wasn't too shocked. I mean, because they kept on telling me I wanted to be on the September card after I heard that I didn't make tough. So I was like, can I get on the September card? And they were like, oh, maybe. And they were being kind of like wishy-washy about it. Mm-hmm. And then, because at the time I was still like, I don't want to go back to it, because to me, tough kind of made it seem like maybe they're not going to have a 45 division. So I was like, do I want to try to go back to 35? And so I told them, like, with enough notice, I think I can make 35 again. So I was like, but you need to let me know if I'm fighting at 45 or 35. And then finally, they were like, well, it'll be at 45, but it's not going to be on this one. I was like, okay. And then they're like, okay. Yeah. And they're like, it'll be in November. Okay. and then they're like, well, we can't tell you anything else, but, and so like, yeah, I kind of had an idea because they've always been really straightforward with me.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we don't have room for you or whatever. And
Yeah.
so I knew something was up.
Yeah, but they were putting it together, like they're putting out, this featherweight, division, I guess, and which is really, really cool. It's like, wow. Yeah. And you're fighting for the title.
Yeah, and now they're actually, they've signed quite a few 45ers, so it's like we actually have a legit division now. Like we have vets, we have new people, we have like all different experiences and skill levels.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
That's so great. I wonder, did they talk about it prior to Shannon with, did you hear any kind of, I don't know, any rumors about like how this all kind of unfolded where they got new women in for this division?
No, I think because Caitlin Young, who was the matchmaker, coming back now, she was at Tough Tryouts, and so she met all of these women that were trying out for the 45-pound division, and a lot of them who didn't get picked up for the cast, a lot of them ended up signing with Invicta, like Faith Van Doon, Sarah, Audrey. So yeah, I think even the girls who didn't make it still opened up some opportunities for them.
That's awesome. That's really great. Wow, that is so cool. So that's exciting news. Are you like, okay, so have you looked at Felicia Spencer? I haven't seen her fight before. I don't even think I've seen you actually fight like live and be like, no. I've seen your fights, but I haven't like seen them like where I didn't know what the outcome was. So,
yeah.
Now that I know you, I'm like, oh my God, I'll be like,
Yeah, I've seen her fight. She's actually fought another girl from Minnesota before, Akila Al-Hamid. She fought her before she fought the blonde lady.
I'm really bad. I can't keep them straight anymore. It's really bad. I have to like have my cheat sheets.
No, I'm the same way.
Like, I recognize faces now. It's like amazing. Before it used to be really easy. I knew all the fighters. Now I'm like, who and what and where are they? And then I have to have my favorites, or else I can't keep track of it. So I'm in this process of learning again. Like I'm learning who the fighters are as I'm going. Putting on this show.
Yeah, I'm the same. There are people who I've gone to the gym with for years, and I'm still like, hey, I recognize your face, but I don't know your name.
Yeah. Well, it's a success problem for women's mixed martial arts. There's so many women now out there, and there's more divisions, and there's more promotions that are featuring women all the time. This card that's coming up. This last card this past weekend. Which did you watch the whole show?
Yes, I finally got to watch the last couple of fights. 'Cause I had to go to work, so I didn't get to see all of it. But yeah, I finally got to see the whole thing.
It was really there was some great fights. Verna came off with the win again. I can't remember if it was the second round. I think it was the second round. Yeah, a nice arm triangle. She's vicious for a little teeny woman. She's 114 pounds, and she'd kick your ass like every which way of Sunday. I'm like, she's nasty.
I really like her. I hope the UFC picks her. Like, as much as I hate seeing all of the Invicta women's titles being vacated all the time, but it's a good opportunity for her.
Well, it's a great elevate the women, build them up, put them to the next. And I kind of think that's why the UFC kind of picked up and had the agreement. I could be mistaken, but in the very early stages of picking up Invicta and kind of having them on the UFC Fight Pass to give them the opportunity to really grow these divisions. And it's kind of like, it's like not the major leagues, but the, in between and then up to go to the UFC. It was I kind of had that feeling that they would do that. I don't know. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it really is.
Yeah. And it's kind of like being called up where there hasn't been anything in the fight scene. Like they don't do that so much with the guys, do they? I don't think they do, other than there's other promotions that, you know, promotions that will feature men and women. And then like, I mean, there's one here in Mass. Well, it's actually in Rhode Island. It's CES, and they gladly, like they'll have whoever their main, you know, main event is. Let's say it's some of the guys, and they might end up going to Bellator or the UFC, and they're really proud of that because they, you know, give these fighters the opportunity to, you know, get noted in the area. And then, you know, if the UFC is looking for somebody in that weight class or division, they're like, yeah, and we sent another one off, and they like it. So it's cool. Yeah. So what was your favorite fight of the night?
I would say the first fight, just because of the headbutt.
I know. I'm actually going to interview her tomorrow. I'm like, what was she thinking? Headbutt.
You're interviewing Audrey?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I met her at Tough Trials. She was really fun. I really liked her. She's really nice. So that's why kind of like, I couldn't see Audrey doing that on purpose. And then I watched it again, and I was like, there's no way that was not on purpose.
She did it, man. She's
like
nasty. Boom.
Yeah, she like popped back, wound up, and like whack.
Yeah. Do you ever lose yourself in a fight where you're kind of just in the fight, and then these instinctual kind of things just kind of happen? I mean, I'm sure she knew.
Yeah, in my last fight against Jan Finney, I lost a point in the first round because I kneed her in the head on the ground when she was grounded. I got so excited. I was trying to like pull her back up to her feet against the cage, and I was like, I'm just gonna throw it, and I just kneed her right in the face. And I was like, dang it.
Yeah, after you think, and then it was like, yeah, you know, it was kind of fun to do.
Yeah.
To try it out.
Like, especially fighting out of town, you know, fighting in her hometown, and I was like, I just lost a point in the first round in her hometown, where if it goes to decision, it's but I mean, it all ended up okay, but yeah, I was a little worried about it.
Yeah, right. Wow.
So yeah, I guess I could say things happen.
Yeah, they do. I mean, you get excited and stuff, but I haven't seen anybody headbutt in a very, very, very long time. That was like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk to her about that and see what she was thinking actually, and like what was going on in her head. I think it was the excitement, and she probably, you know, thought, oh, afterwards, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just,
I think it just happened because she was, you know, trying to do something. The girl was holding her arms, and she's like, well, yeah, I'm going to use what I got.
Yeah. That's the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Oops. Yep. Oops is right. One of the other fights that I really, and she, it was a draw, that fight, you know, that it was actually really, and she probably lost the fight due to losing the point. I was like actually kind of surprised that the ref, maybe he gave her a warning before or something about that, or maybe told them earlier on, but I was kind of surprised that he actually did take the point, and he was very stern with her.
Well, I think it was just so like blatant, and it looked intentional. I mean, it was just like the knee to the head. I think that there are certain things that I don't think you should get a warning for? Yeah. It's like if I wound up and intentionally, well, if I was a guy, wound up and intentionally kicked somebody in the crotch.
Yeah.
On purpose, you probably deserve to lose a point.
Yeah, absolutely. But I liked seeing him be stern, because sometimes they'll just give him a warning or something, you know, like I haven't seen it too often where they will take the point away, but maybe at Invicta, you know, like they might have a little bit more to protect the fighters, and where in other promotions, you don't kind of, you know, like you could see some crappy things done, and the refs will just, you know, say, you know, give them a warning. They won't take the actual point, which I think that's pretty cool.
And I don't know if part of it was her reactions when it just cracked me up when he like separated them and said, "Hey, you can't headbutt." She's like, "What?" I What?
Well, it was her debut. It was her debut. I mean, it was her first time doing that or whatever. But I suspect, I mean, like her coach probably trains that stuff in the gym. Isn't it Guy Mesner or something? Mesner.
Yeah.
And he's a UFC fighter, like an old timer, you know, like he had a long career. And I think back in his time, you probably could have headbutt.
Yeah, that's true.
You know? So he's probably still training it with her. I can't even wait to ask, find out what is going on there, girlfriend. Oh man. But yeah.
Do that again.
Yeah.
You don't want to be known as that person.
Well, it's kind of like, you know, Tanya Evinger putting her knee on a woman's face and just holding her there, or putting her foot on the face of, I forgot the other fighter.
That's legal though.
Yeah, it is. But yeah. I mean, but it was the referee said no, and then changed her and shifted her, and then, you know, she lost the fight. So she was like, no, that was a technique I could use, and you kind of cost me the fight. But but there are things that, you know, you could try, think outside of the box. I mean, headbutting is not one of them, but, you know, think outside the box and try some other things that aren't customarily seen, but they're actually legal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I gotta laugh. I mean, I know she's probably just like shooting herself in the foot because she would have won the fight if it wasn't for the point.
Absolutely.
But it was still, to me, from the outside, it was still hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if they'll have a rematch, those two, against Holly Salazar. You know, was it both women's debut or just?
I think it was both their Invicta debuts. I'm not exactly. I know Audrey for sure. Holly, I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. I mean, they were both really good. They were both gamers, man. It was a good fight. Very good fight. And then the next fight was Kayla Hansen against Helen Peralta, and flyweight fight, and it went to a TKO by Kay. So yeah, that was kind of a cool fight.
And I kind of like, I've trained with Helen at a Waco, like a kickboxing camp, and she's I don't know, she strikes me as kind of a loner. But I saw something that she said about like, well, I can't get in my opponent's head this time because there's nothing in there.
Oh,
I was like, I mean, it's kind of funny, but it's also kind of rude.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't get personal. You don't say like, hey, you're an idiot. Like,
yeah. Wow. So Kayla probably went in and said, hey, you know, no wonder she grounded and pounded her.
Yeah, the girl with nothing in her head just TKO'd you.
Yeah, right? Wow. She doesn't need anything in her head if she's beating the snot out of you. I don't know. Wow. But she actually called out, I don't know, this other fighter, Erin, is it Blackfield? For you know, her next fight, she wanted to go for the flyweight or something like that. She's the only one that actually called anybody out during the whole show out of Invicta. She was asking for a fight against Erin. I think it's Blackfield. I don't know. I should have looked that up, but I didn't have a chance to.
Yeah, I don't know who that is off the top of my head.
In the flyweight division, so I don't know, but I got to hand it to her. She's got her mindset, and she's looking for her next fight, and she's if you don't ask, you don't get it. So
yeah,
kudos to her. And then we move up to the third bout, which was Kelly D'Angelo versus Lindsay Van Zant, and that was a little, you know, it was a good fight, but it was a unanimous decision to Kelly. So,
yeah,
you know, they were both pretty equally matched, I think.
I thought, you know, that first round, I saw that Sarah Kaufman had posted on Twitter, like, how is that not a 10-8 round? Yeah. I kind of agreed with that. I mean, she had her in submissions the entire time, was pounding on her. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, she looked great. I think that's definitely her division. Like,
yeah. So that was a good fight. I liked the next one, Miranda Maverick against Victoria Leonardo. That was a quick fight. Nice arm bar. That was sweet. I was like, oh, we got another Ronda Rousey here.
Yeah, and I love Miranda. She's such a nice girl, and I think it's so cute how like her dad always comes in the cage and she always hugs her dad.
That's nice. I didn't know that was her dad. Oh, cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, she is cute, and she was actually she's going for a doctorate too. She's another one that wants that she's going after the title too. She's like, I'm ready. I want it now.
But I love Miranda, but she lost her last fight. She won this one. You have Vanessa Porto. You have
that's a tough one.
The Polish girl whose name pronounced. There's just so many other vets who have a lot more fights, a lot more wins, who I think would be in line ahead.
Yeah, she probably needs a few more fights before she goes against those fighters too.
Yeah, but I mean, she has more of an argument than was it the next fight, the Felicia Spangler? Did she call for a title shot too?
I don't. You know what? I don't know if she did or not at the end of that fight. I was kind of shocked that it was a split decision. I was kind of shocked that she got that. I was kind of like torn between the two of them. I guess what I liked is that was one of the fights I liked just because Shayna Young was using all those kicks. Like with her lead leg, I was actually, okay, is this a Taekwondo match in the beginning? And then her style, I was like, well, that's a teep, like a Muay Thai teep. I mean, she was just straight jabbing with her lead leg the entire fight. I was like, damn, I kind of like this chick. I just want to see more of her. I was surprised that Spangler didn't take her down a lot sooner. I mean, her leg was up the whole time. It seemed like the whole fight.
Well, I think that makes it hard for her to game plan against because Shanna's a wrestler, so you're not expecting wrestler to fight you like a karate person.
Yeah. I think she should have been an easy takedown, and she wasn't, with her leg up the whole time. She used that leg and then cracked her across the head. She was using roundhouse, and then she shot an axe kick. And you don't typically, that was one of my other favorite fights because you don't typically see somebody use their kicks that way.
Yeah.
And so like effectively throughout the whole fight, it was like the whole fight she was using them.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
But I think that also goes to show, because like Lisa doesn't have a lot of experience. I think because Shanna was originally supposed to fight Raquel Patluhi.
Oh.
I don't think that would have gone very well against Raquel. Because I did talk to Raquel after the fight, and she was like, without sounding mean, she was like, I'm offended that they were going to match me up with her.
With Shayna? You mean Shanna?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm actually not familiar with either fighter, so I was actually surprised that she used the kicks the entire fight because I thought, I mean, there's a certain amount that you can use to keep your opponent away from you, but
if they're not doing anything about them,
yeah. Yeah, but if the other girl was kind of like a wrestler, Spangler, if she was kind of like a wrestler or whatever, she should have been able to take her down a hell of a lot easier than what she did.
It was just a lack of experience and really know how to game plan on the fly.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. So yeah, that was kind of cool. And then there was what was the other fight? That Mallory Martin and Ashley Nichols. There were two Muay Thai, chicks, and they, Mallory with the visualization.
Yeah.
She was nasty. Like the prior to, and she's like, I got this is another one I got a big kick out of was she's going, I don't know what fight it was, but she's like, you're done.
Yeah, when she
And you're not gonna, I was like, oh my God, she is like beast.
Yeah, I think it was her last fight. She fought here in Minnesota, so I actually got to watch that one. And yeah, she's like so nice and so polite in person, and then she gets here screaming at her opponent. Not anything like mean, just in the heat of the moment. And
you're done. Give up.
Yeah,
like I own you, basically.
Yeah,
You said you're done. You're not going to beat me. Like it's over. Like, and she just says it out loud. And I actually kind of like that as a strategy to psych your opponent out.
Yeah, because what are you? If you're getting pounded on and somebody's screaming those things at you, what do? You're just like, what? What?
Well, sometimes you hear the guys like they'll have some shit talking when they're in the ring, and you're like, oh, what are they saying to each other? Like I think there was one a long time ago. It was Anderson Silva against I think it was one of the Brazilian guys. He's a very good black belt. I can't think of his name, but there was some shit talk back and forth, and it was really like, it was all in probably like Portuguese or something. And so you didn't know what they were saying. And then somebody was trying to translate it later, and it was pretty bad. And they were talking back and forth in the, like when they were rolling on the mats and stuff. But I think people after that were like, ooh, Anderson, that was kind of, because he was the one saying stuff. And yeah, it was to a Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I can't think. I'll think of it later. I can't think of his name now, but it was kind of bad. But for her, I thought it was interesting that she visualizes. This is I think, what is it, Mallory Martin? She visualizes, and I like the idea. Her at the end of it, she's like saying, "I own this cage. This is my cage, and I'm here, and I am going to take it away from you, anything or whatever, anybody that enters it, I'm going to show you who I am," or whatever. And I just really like that, because I think, as a mindset, as a fighter, you have to have that.
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
I mean, I feel the same way. I really like it. I think, and some people need that to get their head in it. And I feel like she's just so into it, and like she doesn't mean it in a disrespectful way. Like she's actually, if you see her at weigh-ins and stuff, she's actually really respectful to her opponents. But when they get in the cage, like, it's game on.
Yeah. Yeah. And that mindset, that power of will, and she's gonna, like she was gonna steal your will or take your will from you. And I just thought that was like, wow.
I love her style. I'm a fan of her.
Yeah, well, I am now after that, because I was like, wow, I like you. I like that attitude. I really do. I think that's a great attitude. And I thought it was cool that, I think it was her that trained over at Tiger in at Muay Thai. And Ashley knocked her down.
In the first round?
Yeah, I was actually surprised, because she looks so tiny and delicate, and she can crack. Like, they say women don't have power when they punch, like, especially, what are they, like, they were 115. They're these little girls, they're tiny. And she knocked her on her ass. And I'm like, wow. I was actually surprised by that too, that she actually had the power behind the punch. Because sometimes you can be a striker and not have the power to knock somebody down or close to out. And she was dazed for a bit too. I thought Marilyn was dazed for a little bit after that strike.
Yeah, I feel like smaller athletes, they have to focus a little bit more on the technique, and then smaller people to hit hard, they really have to focus on doing it correctly, not like those big heavyweight guys that can just flail. They're going to hit hard because they weigh 300 pounds. Right. So yeah, little people can hit hard too.
Yeah, I like that. And what's funny about it is, through the years, and I still see it kind of a little bit sometimes if I'm going on other feeds where they're writing about different fights on women, and they're like, some of the guys' perceptions are, well, they got no power, they got no knockout power. And I'm finding more and more, because I even thought that, like, I even kind of thought, you don't see it too much. You see a few, and their practice, their training is different. The ones that are able to knock out consistently, they're weightlifting, they're doing some other strength training or power striking, maybe a lot of repetitions on the bag for building power to strike with. And we didn't see that in the earlier days, and now it seems like you're seeing more of it. And
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool. Like the women are finally, well, the other thing too is I think women are softer, so we might not be easily knocked out.
Yeah, I think that has something to do with it, but I mean, the sport as a whole has just evolved so much. It's still evolving.
Yeah.
You have to figure out what works for your body type, and I think people are finally figuring out, like, if you really put your hips into it, it doesn't matter how big you are, and like you can, like, little people can knock people out too.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I mean, I mean, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you could get the, the arm bar or choke somebody out or whatever, and I get that completely. But punching or striking and knocking somebody out, well, even like what's her name? The other, the one with the leg kick, Shanna Young or whatever. I mean, given Spangler the bloody nose.
Yeah.
I was like, did she break it? I want to find out. I mean, I don't know if she actually broke her nose, but I was like, wow, from a little kick.
Yeah.
Like, yay.
I was like, oh, your heel's hard, because and especially I think she tried to she did side kick the face a couple of times, and like the heel hitting your nose, that hurts.
Yeah. Those kicks are insulting too when you kick to the face like that. You foot in the face, thanks.
Yeah.
Oh man. And then and then there was Pearl Gonzalez and Diana Fermina, I don't know the name. That was a unanimous decision to Pearl, so they were kind of equally matched. There was a lot of ground stuff on that fight, but overall it was like great matchups. I was like, wow, it was a great show. And it was very cool. And one of the other things I wanted to ask you, have you watched The Tough 28 yet? Did you get a chance to watch?
I have not. I actually, I think the only season I've actually watched is the very first strawweight season that they did. And I was so disappointed that there were girls who I was such a fan of, and then I watched the show, and then I was like, yeah, I don't like them anymore. They're bad people.
Yeah.
And I always watch the fights, and I never watch all the bullshit in between.
Yeah. Yeah, I would want to see. Well, to get to know them and see who you like as a fighter, I kind of like that. But I haven't watched the show in a long time, and part of it was I probably wouldn't be watching it now. But knowing all how you and there was Cindy Dandois and Faith Van Dam, and who else was there? There's a whole bunch of other ones that had tried out, and none of you who are.
Yeah.
The featherweight division, didn't get picked. And so I was like, oh, I want to see what the women that are, and they look really small,
Yeah. I don't even know what to say about that.
I know. I mean, I did watch just the first episode, and it was kind of interesting in that who was fighting. I think who did they pair up? And you might know them.
Green, because I know he's from Minnesota.
Oh yeah, that guy. Holy shit, 6'7".
Yeah, because he's come and trained with us a couple of times. He
really?
So tall. Yeah.
He's pretty cool. I actually liked how he crochets. He makes nice hats. I was like, I want one.
I actually want to learn how to crochet, because I want to make my dog leg warmers.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he was doing that, and apparently I think it was he seemed like a bundle of nerves because he was drinking on the show too. Like he had a couple beers and he did some shots, I think a tequila, I don't know. And I think his nerves, within a week's time, I think, he's a bit nervous kind of guy. And so I think he was crocheting some hats and he was making them for his opponents. And I think it calms him down because he was like, all right, just stay focused. And I think he was nervous and this helped calm him down. And he did really well on that. He fought this Polish guy, and everybody calls him PM. You can't pronounce his name. And he was really, that guy was scary, but Mo, holy crap. 6'7" with a reach, and he was nasty. He was laying down, elbows, knees, and I think he kneed the guy out. He totally knocked the guy out. I was like, there's no way. I mean, like, this guy is going to be a holy terror. I wouldn't be surprised if he took the whole thing, and I haven't even seen any of the other guys fight.
Yeah, but Maurice definitely has some very good striking.
Yeah.
His kryptonite's going to be a wrestler, though.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously I don't know, but
yeah, I think you might be right there.
Got them long legs that just say like,
yeah. Yeah, but I think he could pin you down. That's for sure. I don't think he knew what he was doing on the ground, too much, but he could learn something there. But if he keeps it standing, I wouldn't want to be toe to toe with that guy at all. Any of those guys that were on that show,
I don't want to me in the head.
Yeah, he was definitely nasty. And as for the woman, I guess the next fight is Penny Kenzad. Now she's fought for Invicta.
Mm-hmm.
And was she a featherweight?
She was a bantamweight.
Yes, because she looked small. I was like, there's no way she's like featherweight. She couldn't go against Cyborg or,
she's like a couple inches taller than me, but she's just petite.
She looked really, I mean, it's hard to see on a TV show what if I saw them in real life, I would be like, oh, but yeah, I was just like, wow. And she's fighting Katarina Lenner and that's the matchup. So I'm curious to see how that goes. I
don't know if you follow any of the girls on Instagram, but I might watch this episode just to see if it's when Penny somehow gets her front tooth knocked out on the season.
Oh, wow. Really?
That's the one reason I actually watched all the stuff in between the fights is because I don't think Gisette liked it very much, but I was like, Gisette, you and Penny are tooth twinsies.
Oh no. Wow.
Like,
yeah. Oh, I'm going to have to follow them. Say that again because I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, so I was just wondering, like, who knocks her tooth out? So maybe it's his first fight, but I don't know. This is it. I think it's actually a really good matchup. It's one that I could have seen happening either in Invicta or if they got picked up by the UFC at bantamweight. Could have happened in there too. So
yeah, I think they were talking about that they were trying to make this particular fight happen, and it never did at Invicta.
Well,
I don't know.
I know there was one card that Lena was supposed to fight Kaufman before she fought her for the title, and Penny was supposed to fight, because I originally was supposed to fight Penny, and then Lena took another fight in Germany, and then was unable to fight on that card. So I know maybe after that they were talking about it, but yeah, I don't know. Either way, I think it's going to be a really good fight.
Yeah. So that's actually happening tonight. I'm recording it in case I miss it because I was like, I don't even know what time I'm trying to figure out when the show is on. I was like, where is it? It's on all different times, but the first show of it is, I actually am still unclear as to what time it plays. I don't know if it's 9 or 10 on FX or F Sports 1 or something, Fox Sports 1 or something like that. But I'm actually going to watch the whole series because I was like, after seeing you guys, I was like, oh, now I got to really, follow this and see what happens with it and see who comes out of it and how they build the featherweight division in the UFC, because honey, you might end up there. You know,
Yeah.
you might, you know, you might be ending up there sooner than you think. You know.
Well, so I think they're going to do away with. I think, yeah, I think I've said it before, but I think they're going to do away with the division and got a whole group of people that they can add to their bantamweight ranks.
Yeah. I hope they don't. I hope not. I hope they kind of do something with it and they kind of build it or whatever. You know, it seems pointless then for you guys, even where you're at, you know, like if you're where you are and they're building it underneath here, they're laying a foundation. Like, to me, they're laying a foundation to go to the next step. And I think they want to see that maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Well, I am too, but you know, they've gotten my hopes up before, and
yeah. You know what? You might not be one of the lucky. I mean, there's so many other fighters that came up before you that didn't get those things. Like, you know, I'm thinking Tara La Rosa, who, you know, she had her opportunities, you know, during her time, but I think she would have loved to have fought at that level, and just it never happened for her. You never know. Like, you never know. You have to kind of have the mindset, if it doesn't happen to me, it's going to happen for some other, you know, gal underneath me that's coming up, that's, you know, maybe a few years younger or whatever. And you're helping to pave the way. You're helping the sport evolve. You're keeping it around. You're keeping it around.
yeah.
So it's so important, you know.
Yeah, of course. And that's part of why I do want to stay in this division. And, you know, it's not every athletic female is going to be able to make 135 pounds. I mean, 135 pounds is kind of light.
Yeah.
And I also get frustrated at some other girls who are in the division who think, Megan Anderson, who think, you know, it's all about me. I've made it to the UFC. It's like, who are you going to fight? Who are you going to fight?
She hasn't done anything, really. As far as I'm concerned, she has not done a damn thing, Megan Anderson. I'm like kind of disappointed that she got it before other people got it.
Yeah, she's not concerned about the division whatsoever. It's more about me, how do I serve me? And it's like, well, you know, if you get cut, nobody's going to feel sorry for you because you did nothing to help it.
Yeah. I mean, like, she didn't. I mean, she kind of, I don't even know. I felt like she did nothing, like, even against Holly Holm.
Yeah. And she if anything, she hurt the division. You know, Dana White said there's no talent at 45 and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, you got beat by bantamweight. Yeah. So for somebody who's going back to bantamweight and says that's where they want to fight, like, that didn't help our cause at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. You have to have a bit of a backbone and kind of hold your ground. I mean, Cyborg definitely has held her ground. She'll fight anybody, but I'd like to see like what Josette had said on the interview that I had with her. She was saying that, you know, Cyborg isn't actually fighting women that are actually at her weight class. So she looks real good. And I mean, I love Chris Cyborg. I think she's an awesome fighter. I think she really, you know, like, she's just an awesome athlete. However, there is some truth in that. And, you know, when you're a fan and you've watched this for years and years, you want to see her actually fight fighters that are in her division. And for the UFC not to kind of do that. I mean, even her finding Amanda Nunes, I'm like, it's not really, you know, that's not typically what Amanda Nunes fights at.
Yeah, I think Amanda Nunes used to fight at 145.
Yeah, she looks, have you seen her? I've seen her live. I was like, wow, you know, like, she's so lean.
Yeah. So it was what, kind of a bummer that Megan Anderson lost to Holly, because it would have been interesting to see a Cyborg fight somebody who had a size advantage, who's that much taller, but now that fight wouldn't make sense.
Not at all. Not if Holly beat her. I'm like, you don't even want to see it. You don't even care anymore. You don't even care anymore. You know, initially you're thinking, wow. And I mean, I don't know why they kind of, you know, pulled her up or whatever, but it makes me think of this Bay Bad News Barbie Melicky. I don't know what her name is, but she on the Tough 28 on the first one, she was like, yeah, I'm Babe, blah blah blah. I'm the Bad News Barbie, and I kind of lay down, and if you don't get why they call me Barbie, she's like, almost, if you don't get why they call me Barbie, I was like, good for her. She knows she's pretty. She knows she's gorgeous, but I just was like, okay. I'm like, yeah.
Hey, congratulations. You got a spot on the show by whoring yourself out. Good job, Barbie.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. I just thought it was kind of funny that they had her on there. And then I wondered, she didn't get picked last.
What?
Yeah, she didn't get picked last.
How do you not pick that girl last?
I don't know. The ones that got picked last, let me see, who was it? Oh God, I don't have their names. Was is it Marsha?
Marcia Allen?
Is that the black girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, she got picked last, and I think she probably felt like shit because this Bane chick got picked over me.
I'd be pissed too. Like, I'm sorry, Marcia, I would pick you before Bea.
Yeah,
I would pick you before the Barbie.
Yeah, and there was another girl before Marcia too. So I was like, I can't.
Do you remember who that one was?
I don't know. Did I write it down? Let me see. I don't know if I did. Did I write it? I'm trying to find. Yeah, I didn't write it down. Shoot, I thought I had it here, but
I'll go back and see if I can find it. But I'm mad for both of them.
Yeah. I figured Bay would have been the last because one of the coaches did make a comment on that about like, oh, some people have some, and then some people have some holes.
I do think Bea has a pretty extensive Muay Thai background.
Yeah,
but no ground game. Like I remember her at tryouts, and she made the
okay.
Sorry, but she made somebody else who isn't known for their grappling look like a star grappler. So yeah.
Well, I saw her kind of going up against the fence, and she didn't look like she knew what she was doing.
Yeah, so pick Marcia after her.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. What I did like is, I can't remember which coach did it. I think it was, which one did it? The Whitaker. No. Or it might have been Gastelum, where he actually had the guys and the women sparring together.
Oh.
And on the show, and I thought that was kind of cool that he kind of mixed them up. He didn't want to separate them. He actually had them training together, the guy with the girl, and I think that's actually kind of a good approach. And I'm sure they'll mix up, and the women will train together. But he didn't want any kind of cliques forming with just the women and just the guys.
Yeah, I think that's good because, like, usually heavyweights are typically used to sparring with smaller people. Most gyms aren't stacked with heavyweights. So, I mean, if you're going to do it with anybody, you might as well, somebody who's bigger than you, it might as well be a heavyweight because they have to be controlled or they're not going to have any sparring partners.
Yeah, exactly. And then, too, the women were like, yeah, it's great because we can go a little bit harder, too, on the guys, and they're okay with it. Opposed to, like make one of them, I can't remember who said it, but making one of the other ladies cry or one of the other women cry, because I think sometimes, even like watching, I can remember back in the day, like if we were training and one of the women like cried after a training session because she was training with guys and stuff, but to me, which, there's no crying in baseball, there's no crying in Muay Thai, or there's no crying in MMA. For women, it's like a release of stress. And, it doesn't mean that you lack confidence or anything like that. You're just like, oh, wow, that was hard. And I made it, and you might like let go and cry. And I think at Invicta, there was a few women, I can't recall which ones especially showed like a lot of emotion. And, you know, the guys, it's okay if they go in rah. And there was some of the women that are rah. And then they started to cry a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was like, yeah, they're happy and stuff, but still they had that emotion. And I think even that translate even into training or whatever. And to even if you get like, you know, a hard training session, you might cry. I think the Mina Grusander said, she goes, I cry all the time after my training sessions.
I don't know. I just like, I don't cry a lot because I'm just not, just not really my thing. And I get frustrated with like, if you're training with somebody and they cry and it's like, all right, if you're going to cry, go in the locker room. Like,
yeah, right.
I don't know. I mean, I do get it. Women are more emotional, but
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not particularly a crier either during training or whatever. I'm not one of those, but I do understand like women that do it and they do it regularly. It's just how they're built and that's their thing. And they might like after a session of intense training, they might just go, you know, just let it rip. You know?
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of funny because I mean, before it used to be, oh, well, she lacks confidence, and it's not. And I think now it's becoming more accepted that that's not the case. It's just how women operate. It's just how we, you know, release emotions and intense buildup of emotions, whether it's, you know, the intensity of working out or putting so much heart and soul into our training or, you know, just, yeah, I'm a little upset with myself. I didn't train as well as I thought or whatever. Or maybe it's just nothing. It's just a release. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like an orgasm. No, I don't know.
Gotta let it out somehow.
Yeah, gotta let it out somehow. So, yeah. But anyways, I mean, that's all I got for today. I was like, I just wanted to recap stuff. Oh, well, we got like, are you going to be watching the UFC this weekend at all? You're going to be training your little heart out.
I'm going to be training and I work, but I always keep up on it. I sneak away and go and watch stuff. And
yeah, because there's a good fight. Nico Montano, she's really good. I like her.
Yeah.
And Valentina
Shevchenko.
Thank you. My tongue got tied.
Yeah.
That should be a good one. And then there's Jessica Andrade against Carolina Kavanaugh, I think. And that I'm like, I like Andrade. But she just.
I do too.
Was she in the news? Was it her, Jessica Andrade, about money issues or something?
Yeah. Yeah. She said she was selling a bunch of her UFC gear. I don't know. She's like, made like $96,000 this year. And
yeah. And they said, oh, wow. You know, like I know like on one of the feeds, I was listening to what some of the other writers and some of them like, how the hell could she spend like, you know, almost $100,000 in like so many months? And it's like, you know, she went from not making any money, doing fine to making money. And now she's poor.
And I mean, I get it. Like her manager probably takes a cut. Her coach probably takes a cut. She probably has to pay taxes on it.
Yeah.
But still, you should have some left. Like,
yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, exactly.
You need a budget.
Yeah, especially too, like she lives in, what does she live in? South America or Mexico or some, so it's not.
I think in Brazil.
Brazil? Yeah. So the cost of living is going to be less.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I had heard she's going to pay, I heard she's going to pay taxes up here in the States as well as in Brazil. So it's like a double whammy tax. Then, you know, her coaches, her management, how much does management take? 10 or 20%? What do they take now, management?
It depends on your 10 or 20 is pretty normal, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, whatever that is. And it starts to add up, I think. And then, you know, whatever else she was doing. But I kind of liked her, but then everybody was getting a little snooty on her thinking, well, what the hell is she doing, you know? And so I don't know.
But even if between your coach, your managers, taxes, even if you make half of that, a normal person could get by on even half of that.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming she gets some sponsorship money and other stuff. Or, I just... I don't know, to each their own. I mean, she's figuring it out. If you have to sell your stuff, I mean, you have to sell your stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Some people get a little weird when they get money. They don't know how to handle it. They don't know what to do with it if they've never had it, like, and they don't watch it.
Yeah.
Well,
and maybe she's getting ready for a fancy wedding, because did her and her girlfriend just get engaged too?
Oh, maybe.
So maybe she's saving for her wedding.
That could be it too. That definitely could be it. So many women are getting married to women.
Yeah.
Like it's really, to me, it's like really showing up in the women's mixed martial arts. There's a lot of female couples.
Yeah, there is. And I mean, I'm not personally into it, but I mean, I understand it. I'm used to spend so much time with them, and
yeah. But I think it's funny because I was talking to somebody else. There's not many male couples out there,
I think guys are just weirder about it.
Yeah, oh, they are. They're, they might be more secretive or something, but whatever.
Yeah, I think maybe there is.
Yeah, out there. The women can be out there with it. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then there's the Esparza Suarez fight, and I think I'm gonna go with Esparza. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, they're both really good wrestlers.
Yeah.
I think Suarez is gonna be a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger, but I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either, but like I think you can go with do a dollar bet. You got I got Esparza and you got Suarez.
See, but part of that is because Carla was on the season of Tough that I did watch, and Carla was one of the fighters that I really liked before I watched the show, and then I was like, she is a bad woman. She is a bad person. I don't like her. And now I don't like her anymore.
Okay.
A couple of them have grown on me again since, but because like I didn't really like Felice before, and then like I watch her Instagram videos, I'm like, okay, maybe she's not really like that. but yeah, I still hold a grudge against Carla for what she did on Tough.
Oh man, yeah. I didn't actually see that episode. I'm gonna have to go backtrack and look at it, see what she did.
I think Random Marcos, I think they were really mean to her.
Oh, I remember that now. Yes,
yeah.
She spoke out about it at one of her fights. I don't like that. She kind of felt like she was being bullied. It was like, yeah.
And I just remembered, because what really kind of like made me not like her and her buddy, it was, I think they came up with like a song or something to taunt Randa, and I was like, that's like, we did that in like second grade.
Yeah, I know. That is lousy. Oh yeah, I wouldn't like that either. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. You just reminded me. Maybe I'm going to change.
Yeah, I remember. And then I'm like, I
remember it now too. It was her. Wow. Yeah, and then I thought otherwise too about us at that time, Esparza too. I was like, oh, I don't like her, but
yeah,
I was just picking her as a fighter because I know she was good.
Yeah.
Oh well. All right. Well, I'll go with the meanie, and you can still take.
I'll take the good one.
All right. So I want to thank you for co-hosting with me and like kind of going over the fights, this past weekend, the ones that are up and coming, and going over Tough 28 with me. We'll have to do a catch up, like a whole group one. Have a big meeting kind of towards the end of Tough 28. I'll have to check in with the others, like that were other featherweights that tried out, and we can all have an opinion about it.
We all have opinion.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Do you want to hear them or not? We have them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's good chat, and if people listen to it and they're like, "Wow, there's other featherweights around here. What? I didn't think there were that many. Oh, what? Yeah. These girls were bantamweights that were on the show. What's going on? Let's hear." Yeah. So the chatter is actually good. This is how things start happening, and So I want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, always a pleasure. I'm going to try and post this tomorrow. Doing like the recaps of fights or whatever, and try to get a little more regular on that. But it'll probably take me a while to do because it's just a time consuming thing. But I want to bring this in for our listeners, and so it'll be an added thing other than just doing the interviews.
Yeah. All
So
right.
cool. So love to have you back on again. It's always a pleasure, Pam. Do you want to give a shout out to anybody or you know, like well, you got your next fight. Do you want to tell your next opponent a little something? I'm looking for you, I'm ready for you, or whatever. I don't know.
I don't know. I am ready for her. I don't know. I have nothing to say to her. The fighting speak for itself.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to say you will be fighting November 16th. You'll be facing Felicia Spencer at oh gosh, you guys are going to Oakland. You going to Shawnee,
No,
Oakland?
Shawnee, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Okay, Oklahoma. Okay. Yeah, at Fire Lake Arena.
Yeah.
So that's pretty exciting. That's kind of cool because Invicta is usually down at the oh God, in
The
the
Scottish
Rite Temple. And so this is kind of cool that they're moving around because I know other people have been asking, you know, Invicta, when are you going to come to Boston? Invicta.
Think about everything. Like some of the East Coast states, they have ridiculous medical requirements, and like that'd be expensive. And
Yeah, I know. That's why I never had a show here.
yeah.
It is. It's very expensive, but we still would love to have them or someplace close by. I don't know where it would be, but I would love to see.
Maybe one day get your commissions to lighten up a little bit.
It won't. It's it's not going to happen. It's another tough one or whatever. At least it's not New York. At least New York finally started to, you know, open up the MMA fights. But
Yes, it's very true.
But yeah, everybody's here. They got the hand in your pocket.
Yep, that's for sure.
All right. Well, thanks, Pam. Get to training. And I actually, this went longer than I thought it ever would have. I was thinking 30 minutes and we'll be good. It went long. But thanks again. And I'll talk to you soon. And good luck with your up and coming fight and your training camp and all that. I wish you the best.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, so thanks for listening to our recap of Invicta FC 31, all those wonderful fights and wonderful bouts of female warriors, you know, just, you know, in the cage, you know, pouring their heart and soul into their fights and stuff. It was really a great night of fights. And I want to thank Pam Sorenson for coming on and helping me recap and just chit-chatting about that, her upcoming fight, which will be in November against Felicia Spencer for actually the featherweight title for Invicta, which is really kind of cool that she's got that going on, and just kind of going over, you know, the tough 28 again, seeing what's happening with that, and then too, what's happening with the UFC too, which the fight's coming up this coming weekend. And I want to let you know too, for the next interview with a fighter, which will be coming out on Monday because we skipped Labor Day. I did not publish anything because this was going to be my new little thing, coming up with recaps. I don't know if I'll be able to do it every week. I could really use your help with coming up with a name for it because it just sounds kind of boring, you know, Evolve WMMA weekly recap. I don't know. I need some names. So help me out with that. Maybe once this is posted, put it on Facebook and say, how about this name or something like that, what to call it. And I'm going to try and post these maybe on Thursdays or something, you know, after, you know, last week's fight and what's coming up for the following week for women's mixed martial arts. And then, yeah, I could use some help with that. And if you are on Patreon, we are looking for patrons. We need your support. I want to grow this thing. So it takes a lot of time for me to publish these, to do the research on the women and stuff. And I'd like to make it a full-time position where I could bring in some help to keep this going, to help support women. And I have all my goals kind of listed on Patreon. And I also have tiers where you could help support Evolve Women's MMA podcast and blog, which would be really awesome. We could have sponsors too. I kind of have a list there. It may change a little bit here or there, but if you're interested, please, you know, I have 4,000 or 5,000, maybe it's 6,000 people on Facebook. If each of you donated $1, that would be a huge support to keep this growing. I could actually even sponsor a fighter with that kind of money, you know, like coming in. If everybody did that, it would be so huge. And you guys could vote on who you want to, you know, sponsor. We could kind of make it a collective thing. I don't know. Let's talk. All right. So, trying to offer more information about women's mixed martial arts. If you follow us on patreon.com / I think it's Evolve WMMA, that would be super. Or you know how to reach us on Facebook. It's facebook.com / I love WMMA. Or you know what? You could email me. How about that? At Shelley, SHE double hockey sticks, EY, at thewmma.com. If you want to show some support that way too, or if you have any questions, hit me up there. And then what else? Oh my God, there's so much information here. We're on YouTube now. So you were able to listen. Well, now you can see us. And eventually I'll probably be doing some live episodes, but that's not coming for a little while because like I said, it's a lot of work on my end to set this stuff up, to even set up the interviews, which I will be interviewing for Monday, September 10th. That new episode will be coming out I'm doing an interview with Audrey Wolf. So I'm going to get to the bottom of why she headbutted Holly Salazar. You know, what was she thinking? I'm going to get to the bottom of it. And so that will be coming out on September 10th. And I hope you'll listen in. So I want to thank you again for, you know, joining me on this show, listening in. And if you are eager to hear more, please download on iTunes, follow us on YouTube, hit the follow, hit the subscribe. And better yet, if you want to get on the email list, really simple way to do it, 10x your energy, kind of sign up for that. You'll get a 3-part video series of how to kind of just some easy exercises that you could do to 10x your energy. And you'll get included on the Evolve WMMA email list. So you'll get those weekly episodes of what's coming out for the next interview of, you know, a fighter that is up and coming. And I think that's it. Yep, that is it. I think that's all I got right now. So, you know, if you, yeah, this is Shelley Devine. I'm losing it right now. Oh my gosh. I'm Shelley Devine. Until next time, thanks for listening.